Alpt, want your kids to become good liars, overreact about every little thing they do growing up. Yeps, this was a problem for me. Once it clicked that I could just lie and not get punished for little stuff. It was a slippery slope. I wonder how the jumper cable guy's truth hygiene is nowadays. I just lie without realizing it sometimes now. It's an instinctive defense mechanism. Yeps, I did that for the longest time. About shit that didn't matter. Where were you? Walmart. I was at the mall. I'm allowed to be in either place. Close bracket. Yes, exactly. Especially with authority figures, I just obfuscate the truth for literally no reason. Sometimes it even makes me look worse. I gain literally nothing from it, but it takes a lot of conscious thought to catch and correct it. I've started correcting myself when I do it with people I trust by saying, wait, no, I misremembered, but that's also a lie. Part of pulling myself out of it was just telling the truth, no matter what comes. But that's really fucking hard. It comes down to the fact that I've been doing it so long that I maintain a running log of how I want to be perceived versus how I am. And that's a lot of work to maintain and keep straight. I don't entirely blame the parents for this, but it got the ball rolling. If you learn early on how to not to be comfortable in your skin or head, and that you can just say otherwise, it makes the rest a lot easier. I'm 33, for example, and I smoke. I obviously smoke. It's one of the main things strangers would know about me, but I constantly deny it to the parents because I truly don't want the hassle. It's a big bother to me, and they are just as comfortable with that fiction as I am. If you can be good at one thing, be good at lying, because once you're good at lying, you're good at everything. Hey Callum, nice shirt. Strict parents create sneaky kids. If you want truthful kids, don't punish them when things go wrong. Sit them down and teach them why it went wrong and how to avoid that in the future. Never punish a kid for telling you the truth. Deal with whatever happened and let natural consequences take place though. Most starting parents go in with this mindset, but then find out that this doesn't work on toddlers. Toddlers have a really limited sense of having cause and effect verbally explained to them, and thus parents give up and go for the easiest routes, which is direct being angry with them. But toddlers grow up real fast, and by that point, tired parents pick the patient side talk up too late. I see so many people go straight to whatever makes the toddler quit throwing a fit and give in to terrorists. Toddlers want to feel grounded. Of course the personality of the toddler matters a lot, but I believe in prevention. Toddlers get hectic because their parents already are. They pick up on that. Toddlers also test their parents, and the more reactive you are to their antics, the more stressed they feel. Being a parent is about keeping the house environment stable, safe and at peace. And yeah, not loading them up on sugar and caffeine also helps a lot. Worked for me. Same. Why should we trust us? We shouldn't. Didn't know my parents used this sub. Hey, all that time lying about what I was doing to avoid parental attention really came in handy when I got my first sales job, though. This guy sells. Or does he? Are you even real? Are we real? Everyone is a bot except you. Everyone is a bot except you. As a kid whose mother loved gaslighting, even Satan would believe my lies. Edit. Explanation of link. psychologitoday.com/au/blog/here there and everywhere/2017-01/11 warning signs gaslighting. I believe you. Wait. No I don't. Do I? You did yesterday. Semicolon close bracket. It only works with my parents. I can't lie to other people. That's what I say too, but it's a lie. This also works if you don't want your kids to ever come up to you with important things, like depression or anxiety. They won't even tell you that they're dying. Can confirm. The one time I honestly thought I was going to die, I just sent my family a text saying I love them and that's it. No explanation or what was happening. Can confirm. Excellent liar. How can I know that you are not lying about this too? My parents thought I had a tell, not being able to keep a straight face when staring at me, which meant although they would accuse me of lying when I was not. When I was lying I just had to manage one thing, not to smirk. My dad decided he was install a tell. He told me that you get white spots on your nails if you lie. He claimed that I would hide my hands when I lied. Problem was, I always had white spots on my nails as a kid. And I would then check my nails regularly. I'd see the spots and hide them all the time. So he always thought I was lying. I'm a bit neurotic. But I'm also an expert liar. It took me many years as an adult to learn to just admit when I made a mistake openly. Because my father overreacted constantly when I was young. It was so incredibly liberating to be able to just say I'm sorry. I think I've made a mistake on that report I gave you. Could we double check it? Or I have to redo the numbers on projector. We left out this is group. There are times when your mistakes will have huge repercussions and you should feel bad. But a lot of the time you just have to fix the problem and move on. When you go ballistic every single time something goes slightly awry, you are definitely teaching your children that lying by omission is the way to go. To be fair, our society as we know it wouldn't function nearly as well without lying by omission / white lies. There's a lot of truth you don't tell people because it would be stupid to do so and is not necessary to tell them, is what I mean. Would that be lying by omission? A lie of omission isn't just not saying something, e.g. keeping it to yourself that you think your colleague's shoes make her feet look like sausages. It's specifically misrepresenting the situation or fact by omitting part of the truth. It's like if someone asks you who broke this vase and you say I didn't see it happen. Because technically when you knocked it over you weren't facing it. But beyond misrepresenting things that have happened, when you overreact to your children's mistakes, oversights or accidents you teach them that it's better not to tell anyone when something bad has happened, rather than face the consequences of notifying a responsible adult who might be able to help them fix it. This can also spill over into your own adulthood where instead of admitting a mistake, you say nothing, which can often A. escalate the problem immeasurably and B. get you in much bigger trouble when you're eventually found out. To use a real world example of a colleague of mine, she generated a mailing list with the wrong data. It was used to print names and addresses onto our magazine, and they were sent out to 10,000 people. And she don't tell anyone because she was too afraid of the inevitable temper tantrum by our then boss. So by not saying anything, she not only cost the company the price of printing the addresses onto the material, which is a lost cause at this point, but also the postage which she could have saved them by admitting to the fault before they were mailed. The better option would have been to admit the printed addresses were wrong and that the magazines to be sent were a write-off, or at the very least has to be somehow repurposed with labels over top, etc. But by admitting it in time she could have saved on the postage to all the wrong people, necessitating a second mailing with all the same printing and postage costs again. My colleague kept silent about this until they got thousands of pieces of returned mail because the names didn't match the addresses. Only then did they go back to the data file and realize what had happened. She was someone who was so insecure and fearful that she was content to let a later boss psychologically torment her rather than confirming 2 hours that it was happening when they asked her. I certainly don't suffer from the same level of fearfulness as her, but it comes from the same place of not knowing how to take responsibility without being victimized. She was relentlessly criticized and bullied by her family and didn't have the slightest idea how to stand up for herself. Her go-to was deny, hide, avoid. Now that you make me think about it, my parents were all but overreactive, and I've never told a lie in months, years, I don't remember. How can I trust you? I can say I'm telling the truth without generating a universe destroyer paradox, pal. This sentence is false. By necessity, I learned how, and then went on to live 2 completely separate lives. And it fucked me up forever. I'm 37 and I'm still working on not doing this by default. It's always been so confusing who I really am. And it goes back to growing up and having to lie about everything. It was about survival. the truth meant suffering. Parents, please don't make it so your kids can't tell the truth. This worked for my parents. I would intentionally accuse my brother of something I knew he didn't do. He'd break a glass or hide something and say he broke it / stole it and watch his reaction when he was telling the truth. Then copy it when I was lying. I might be a little unhinged. Palpatine, the early years, that's a hilarious story, by the way. Have overreacting parents. Can confirm. The best liar you know is not the best liar you know. Since their parents overreact, they will do anything to avoid confrontation. That includes mastering the art of lying. Did you even get what I said? Was meant for you / shout budcuddy below. You won't get in trouble if you tell the truth. Literally gets in trouble every time I told the truth. I'm in college now and I love my mom, but damn, I'm still pissed about a few situations from my childhood. Definitely same. I hid test papers from my parents with C's in them in elementary school. My teacher caught me doing that and asked why. I told her if I showed those scores to my parents they would beat me, which they had before. They're a lot better now. Luckily, life's a lot easier when you can rely on your parents for support instead of having to hide from them. Man, my grades were always posted online. I'd panic whenever mom would call me into her room to check my grades. Inspect element. Worked very well for me, to be sure. THX grandma. My parents always overreacted. I would get punished for getting in trouble at school, but then they would always blame the school or the teachers. Depending on the story I told, I would either get grounded, no TV, video games, computer, phone, going out, doing anything at all for weeks on end. But if I could lie well enough to make myself out as the victim, since I already knew they blamed the school for so many things, like my lack of disciple, poor grades or poor behavior, I could get rewarded. Once I understood my parents were never going to take responsibility for their role or lack thereof in my attitude or behavior and always pass the buck, I realized as long as I play into it, they became more or less powerless. It became a formula, and because of that I learned that if you understand what someone refuses to accept or acknowledge in their own life and you create a story that perpetuates their bullshit, confirms their bias, then really your lie can be about anything at all, big or small, and you just prey on the fact that the person is already lying to themselves so often and on such a fundamental level. They already have convinced themselves that certain things you say are going to be true before you even say them. Once you figure out what that is, until they overcome themselves in a deeply fundamental way, you can lie all day and they will see you as a kindred spirit or even fall in love with you. Edit. Spelling. Found the politician. Can confirm. I'm so good that I even lie when I'm sleeping. Thanks, Dad. Bonus points if your parents think you're a bad liar. That way you can lie a lot more and they won't realize. My dad once whooped my ass for taking a bath when I said I was going to take a shower. 10 years later, I've lied my way out of school suspension, truancy court, threat of arrest, etc. Pays off to be terrified of all authority. Strict people get lied to in general. Parents, governments, friends, acquaintances. If someone is known to be strict, then other people quickly learn how to tiptoe around them. This is why criminals run from the police. Consider the possible outcomes. 1. Accept arrest, go to jail. 2. Run. Get caught, go to jail. Slightly longer term. 3. Run. Evade police, cardio workout lol. This makes them pathological liars, not good ones. My dad, lol. Once he told me it's okay, you can tell me the truth. I won't get angry. I then told him the truth and he whipped me with his belt. 7-year-old me learned to lie pretty fast after that bullshit. Wow, is this true? I'm an excellent liar. I lie about almost everything because my parents freaked the fuck out about every little thing. Or your parents never gave a shit and you had to learn from their mistakes. Actually learn how to lie well and actually get good enough to fool adults. Then alternative school, police, judges. It gets really easy. Smile while you kill kids. It's fun. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.